I used to be one of those Nigerians who believed that JJ Okocha should consider contesting for the presidency of the Nigerian Football Federation. However, after I listened to him carefully, the conversation he had with Mikel Obi on the Obi-Wan podcast, I found myself reconsidering that position. However, before we even go, I would love you to watch the conversation where he was asked.
When I listen to you, JJ, you know the game. I see that. You're passionate about the game. On this podcast, John has been very outspoken about the politics, let's call it that, the politics within it. Yeah. John has name-checked you a couple of times. We need people like JJ at the top. NFF, African football, needs people that understands the game to stop making the mistakes that it's been making seemingly for generations. Would it interest you, JJ? Does moving into a role where you help shape the future of African football, Nigerian football, would it interest you?
Well, of course. I mean, it would be unfair to football lovers for someone like me to say, oh, no, I'm not interested. But the truth is that the mess is so bad that
you wouldn't want to touch it.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know,
it's too
sometimes you ask yourself, is it worth it to try? What if you don't succeed? You know, because you have good intention. But it's not just you. You need a team. So are you all on the same page? Which people are you going to work with? I tried it a bit. I went to Delta State. But when I saw what was going on, I left. You know, I left. I said, listen, it's not worth it. But to be honest, sometimes also I think history will not forgive us if we keep quiet. And that's why I admire your courage to speak out. You know how our place is.
Yeah.
Sometimes if you say the truth, you create enemies. You know, so it's like they've chased us back into our shells. Because you can't even say that, okay, we didn't do well. And they will accept it. They'll be like, oh, why didn't you call me? Must you say it out there? But how do we get better? If we can't call a spade a spade. And to be honest, all of us are suffering from it. You know, life gets a lot easier if we're winning. World Cup is coming up, we're not taking part. And if not that, maybe our names have gone beyond borders. Nobody will remember us because Nigeria is not taking part. You know, so now we are leveraging on the things that we did in Europe with our clubs and not the national team. And normally it should be the other way around. And these things can be fixed. And that's the annoying part of it because it's not rocket science. It's just to put a good structure in place, get people that can add value to the value chain. Yes, I will not say, that the ones that are there that are totally bad or whatever, but maybe they've reached their limit. Maybe they don't know any better. And my belief is that we all have role to play. In an office, you have secretary, you have PA, you have a team.
Yeah.
You know, in football, you have defenders, you have strikers, you have a team. But you can't say that former football players have no role when it comes to administration, you know, the administrative part of the game. That is wrong. I mean, if someone like you shows up on this player's training ground, it speaks volume. Just something as simple as that.
Yeah, simple as that, yeah.
Welcome back. Now, when JJ Okocha was asked whether he would love to give back to Nigeria by contesting for the NFF presidency, I saw three things that were of particular concern to me. First, I saw a man who is genuinely passionate about Nigeria, and he desperately wants things to change. There is no question about his love for Nigerian football. His frustration with the state of the game was obviously seen in his response and how he responded. And I believe that his intentions are genuine and true. Secondly, however, I saw a man who may not necessarily possess the temperament to operate effectively in an environment filled with so many interests, so many oppositions and political resistance. And this is where my concern begins. Thirdly, I saw a man who wants change but appears deeply conscious of the possibility of him failing. Now, that matters because governing Nigerian football is not going to be a smooth administration exercise. Whoever said it's going to be easy or El Dorado, that person is lying. One of the things Nigerians must understand about this country is that almost every major sector has powerful interests that protect the status quo, right from our education to petroleum, electricity, politics, sports. There are cabals everywhere. There are networks, vested interests, bureaucratic structures, and people who benefit from the system remaining exactly the way it is. The NFF is not going to be any different. You cannot walk into that environment simply because you are passionate, famous, respected, or you genuinely want things to work. You need the political will. You need administrative competence. That's the education. You need an understanding of institutional politics. You need the ability to negotiate in a room where everybody is trying to protect his own interests. You need the courage to make enemies, which clearly he said he's not ready to have. You need the patience to build alliances. And sometimes you need the ability to be an educated madman. By that, I mean someone intelligent enough to understand the system, but stubborn enough not to allow the system to intimidate him. This is why I often think about the different leadership styles we have seen in Nigeria. Good intentions alone have never been enough. Jonathan had his strengths. Buhari also had his strengths. But Nigeria repeatedly demonstrates that goodwill without political execution is not enough to transform deeply corrupt or entrenched institutions. The person who eventually leads the Nigerian Football Federation must therefore be much more than a former international footballer. He must understand football from top to bottom, not just the Super Eagles or just the Super Falcons, not just our youth national teams. He must understand grassroots football. He must understand coaching education. He must understand refereeing development. He must understand player development. He must understand club administration and football in general. He must understand sports economics. He must understand the politics of FIFA, CAF, and the NFF, the State of Football Association, and the government. And above all, he must possess the temperament to fight for the reform. And when powerful people are fighting back, he must be, like I said, an educated madman. He must have that political will. Because grassroots football and coaching education in Nigeria are in serious trouble. It might suffice to say, like, they're done. There's nothing left. Okay? So the problem is much deeper than whether the Super Eagles qualify for the World Cup or whether the Super Falcons win another tournament. We're talking about the entire football development ecosystem. So I am not questioning JJ Okocha's love for Nigeria. No. I am not questioning his football intelligence. Neither am I questioning his achievements. I am simply asking a different question. Does JJ Okocha possess the political, administrative, and institutional temperament required to dismantle and rebuild a system as complicated as Nigerian football administration? I genuinely don't know. And after listening to that interview, I am no longer as convinced as I was before. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe JJ Okocha has exactly what it takes. Maybe if given the opportunity, he would surprise all of us, including my bias right now. But before Nigerians campaign for a legend to become NFF president, simply because he is a legend, we must ask whether the man is actually equipped for the war that comes with this job. Because Nigerian football doesn't just need another great footballer at the top. It needs a great football administrator, a political strategist, a reformer, and an institution builder. So what do you think? Do you believe JJ Okocha has what it takes to become NFF president? And he possesses the ability to successfully reform Nigerian football? I want to know what you think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section.